Going on a walk in the woods. It's incredibly peaceful, and I would definitely recommend doing it because there is no one else around, and you get some exercise, and you can take your mind off whatever's going on in your life. Don't have to worry about any of the problems. It's similar for me to when I ride motorcycles. That's kind of for many years that was the thing I did. And you're just living in the moment. You know, you're not thinking about anything. You're not thinking about any of the problems of the day or what you have to do tomorrow or any of that stuff. You're just simply, you're walking on the trail or you are riding your motorcycle. And, hey, Ellie, come on. My dog's way back there. There she comes. Come on. Come on. There you are. Good girl. What are you doing over there getting lost like that? So she's having a good time. And that's how I would relate this, Dogs, she spent the entire day inside today. It's kind of a hotter day. And now that she's out on just a little nice walk in the woods, she's happy. Not to say that she wasn't happy just laying inside, but dogs live their life in the moment, right? Every moment is, every moment could be a good moment. They're not stressed out about anything. If you offer them food or you take them on a walk, they're going to be happy. They're always going to want to go for the most part. And that's kind of what, everyone has a different thing. Some people it's hiking or walking or maybe exercising. Maybe it's going for a drive. Maybe it's, playing like a video game or something. Whatever. Camping, shooting guns. I don't know. Drawing, art, reading, something that just takes you away. The reason I say maybe walking is good is because you get a little bit of exercise. You clear your brain. You can get away from thinking about too much, at least for an hour or so. And I think that's healthy. And every time I look at like a dog, I'm like, geez, us as humans, we're kind of overcomplicating things. She's out here sniffing a bush, having a grand old time. So I think something can be learned from that. At the end of the day, you got to realize, hey, whatever's going on, whatever problems I have, someone always has it worse. And, it's all just temporary, right? Everyone's going to die eventually. Everyone's on this earth for relatively a very short time. If you consider how long the earth has, just been here. Even just the United States, right? It's like crazy. Really, only a few hundred years ago, everything looked much different as far as technology and society and just surviving. We were much more, we acted much more like animals, even just a few hundred years ago. Hunting, gathering, defending your land, oftentimes to the death. And now we're very spoiled. Of course, you wouldn't think you were spoiled unless you were historically educated, but for the most part, everyone has a home or a place to live. Everyone has access to transportation for the most part, to the internet. They have a cell phone for communication and entertainment. But if you don't, if you're just born with that directly in your hand, that's just what you're used to. So you don't really appreciate it. It just becomes the normal. But, you know, you consider what people maybe 100, 200 years ago had to deal with. I almost fell over right there. You consider what people just a couple hundred years ago had to deal with, you know, dying of disease, not having the ability to really see other places, you know, no public transportation. You know, maybe there was trains, but, you know, you couldn't really easily travel places. Airplanes weren't, you know, I guess were invented 100 years ago or so, but, you know, 200, 300 years ago, if you were a human, this was kind of your life, right? You were living in the woods and you didn't really travel too far. You couldn't, you had no reason to really trust people, right? You were worried probably about getting killed or someone stealing everything you had, or, you know, you couldn't really put a lot of confidence maybe into the, you know, security, as far as like the, you know, like now we have police officers and a judicial system. And so if someone, you know, you don't have to worry about someone breaking into your house and stealing everything you got. I mean, of course that still happens, but, you know, now with technology and security the way it is, people know that they're going to get caught. You know, they can't just get away with stuff anymore, you know, like they did 100 years ago or even 50 years ago, right? Before technology advancements and like DNA and security footage, people would just be killed, or they'd be robbed, and there was no way of ever figuring out who it was. So now we live in, you know, again, I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen still, but relatively it's like, hey, we're very spoiled. Everyone has a very high quality of life, or a standard of living, like I said, with a roof over your head for the most part, a vehicle, public transportation. Everyone has access to food. You don't have to worry about going to kill something in the woods to eat. And you can explore whatever interest you want. You know, you have the ability to learn anything from your phone with the internet. You can learn other languages. You can educate yourself and become whatever you want, whatever you want to be. So it almost feels like there's just too much options now, right? If you have the ability to go do whatever you want, it's almost hard to choose, right? Similar to, you know, it's like they said when they did the study of, if you just give someone like a free t-shirt at a concert, they're pretty much going to be happy with it because it's free. But if you give them the option between like 20 t-shirts or even 10, they're going to have some regret because they chose, after they make the selection, they're going to be disappointed that they didn't choose the other one. So in a world where there's so many options, sometimes that leads to indecision and people never really making a decision. In the past, you know, maybe your dad was like a blacksmith and, you know, or a carpenter, or maybe they did something with the law. And oftentimes that's just, you know, you followed whatever your parents did. But now it can be a little overwhelming for young people to choose. It's even difficult for people who are older, right? Because things change. Spider webs, guys. Things change so quickly that you might have been doing something that is just no longer relevant. So you have to pivot at maybe an older age. You got to re-educate yourself, get new skills, and, you know, take another crack at it. So just a random video talking about stuff while walking in the woods. Again, some of the stuff that goes through my head when I'm just going out for a walk. So it's the end of the trail. If you guys have any comments on it or opinions, feel free to share them. Have a great day. Take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next one.